Hello everyone, this is Cheyenne, loving warrior for Christ, and I'd like to talk about this Ebola virus and that there could be a possible cure for it. It's worth a try, that's what I think, and especially if any of your loved ones, people get infected with this, because we don't know what could happen in the near future because they're bringing it over here to the United States. But at least you could be prepared just in case an outbreak does happen, and you could be prepared to help others if they do get sick. And it's worth a try. I mean, anything's worth a try, especially when they say there's not any cure for it. I have a few videos I'd like to show y'all.
Okay, the video clip I'm about to share was posted as an alert to all heads of state in every nation of the world, specifically those stricken with Ebola. That being said, let's take a look at this video.
My name is Rima Ilebo, MD. I am the medical director of the Natural Solutions Foundation, a humanitarian charity chartered in the United States and active all over the world. Ebola virus is surging through West Africa. The fact is that we are all one plane ride away from a cataclysm. And as of now, it is said that there is no treatment against Ebola, and that is not true. In fact, there is a well-known, well-characterized nutrient that is nano-silver. It is non-toxic, it does not require refrigeration, it is inexpensive, self-sterilizing, and can be given to every member of the community, from the tiniest baby or pregnant mother to the oldest, most fragile granny. Nanosilver leaves the beneficial bacteria and the healthy cells of the patient unaffected, but it does kill every pathogen against which it has been tested worldwide without exception. There is no other effective solution. Now, why hasn't nanosilver been brought forward already as a treatment against Ebola? There are many reasons.
Okay. Now, what she says in this video has been verified by many, myself included. No, I never contracted Ebola, but I have seen nano-colloidal silver cure many problems throughout the years. I've been healed. Loved ones have been healed, and even pets have been healed by this God-given natural solution. Now, even though there is an absolute cure for Ebola and all other communicable diseases for that matter, the profit-driven AMA will fight this tooth and nail to prevent it from being used. Reason being is they would lose billions of dollars a year administering their unsafe methods that actually cure no one, but do in fact create customers for life who depend on the drugs that keep their sicknesses managed instead of cured. If and when Ebola comes to your neck of the woods, there is a cure. The other reason they refuse this known cure is so that they can have an easy method of bringing forth martial law when it comes time to enforce the mark of the beast in areas they're having trouble with, for example. Ebola or any other communicable disease can be used by the powers that be to shut down neighborhoods, and even entire cities, states, or nations can be placed under martial law, like they're doing right now in West Africa. Students of prophecy know what time it is. That being the case, we can't help but wonder, why is it Obama has felt it necessary to bring Ebola into the United States of America? Perhaps it's because the United States Center for Disease Control are actually the ones that invented and then patented the Ebola virus. When you get time, you may also want to check out this article that lists numerous reasons as to why Obama has allowed Ebola-stricken patients into the USA. One such reason is they are harvesting their virus strains so as to patent each strain that comes to life. With the influx of illegal aliens coming into the USA right now from countries with confirmed Ebola outbreaks, they may have all sorts of patents to file soon. It will also grant them many opportunities to enforce martial law as well. Still, in all this, there is a glimmer of hope for some top officials who don't seem to be playing by the corrupted rules, though doing so stealthily at the same time. What I mean is, It appears someone sent a so-called secret serum that has actually healed some Ebola patients. Could it be nanosilver? They don't say, and they're coming up with all these strange statements like it's got to be frozen and thawed out naturally and all this other stuff. Well, nanosilver doesn't have to be frozen. It can be kept at room temperature, in fact. But if they make it appear to be a really special serum, they can charge big money for it. Now, I do know that the AMA has been using colloidal silver as well as nanosilver on infants for years. Why? Well, when a pregnant mother with STDs comes into the hospital to give birth, as the baby emerges, the doctors place a few drops of this silver solution in their eyes to assure that all STD pathogens are killed so as to prevent blindness in the baby. In any event, it appears the powers that be are creating every method possible to assure an easy corralling of their respective citizens when it comes time to enforce the mark of the beast. Everything from millions of people relying on welfare to man-made viruses like this that can be easily spread in a multitude of ways. Seeing how we see this to be the case in reality, I must implore you to ready your house for the return of Christ. If you have already done so, I then implore you to join us in this work of warning others. I hope and pray that you are blessed. Please share this video with as many as possible. Thank you for watching, and God bless.
How colloidal silver kills bacteria. Yes, size does matter. Bacteria is all around us, and yes, if I were the size of a silver ion, this scale is correct. Some bacteria are good and some are bad. Nearly 99% of the good gut flora in your stomach are anaerobic, meaning they do not need oxygen to survive, unlike the bad bacteria, which are aerobic, meaning they need to create oxygen in order to survive, and this is key. The second important ingredient to why colloidal and ionic silver are such wonderful antibacterial and antiviral solutions is size. And yes, folks, size does matter. It is the small nanometer size of the silver ion that is able to suffocate the enzyme that the bad bacteria and virus use to create oxygen. And unlike prescription antibiotics that are toxic and can have side effects, colloidal silver and ionic silver are, from my experience, completely harmless. Your body fights bad bacteria using white blood cells. You can watch as a white blood cell chases down a parasite. Dr. O'Reilly will explain the next clip.
Hi, this is Dr. O'Reilly with another plaque sample showing an unusual situation here with white blood cells in this sample. What I wanted to show you is this white blood cell in particular, where you have 2 nucleus inside the white blood cell instead of the usual 3 nucleus, and that tells me that this white blood cell is starting to deteriorate and die. The reason why is that this cell is lined, as I'm pointing out with the arrow here, is lined with bacteria. These are actually bacteria along the cell wall or the outside membrane of this white blood cell. And this actually happens this is a direct sample from a patient's mouth. So this is actually happening live, where these bacteria are attaching and boring into this white blood cell to eventually kill it. So these are other manifestations of white blood cells in various shapes. This one is pretty much dead. It's got a couple of nucleuses inside. This is an old one as well. You kind of see a little bit of filaments along the edge. And this one down here, which doesn't really have any healthy nucleus inside of it. So this is what happens with your white blood cells inside your mouth when you have certain bacteria in place underneath your gums. This is what causes gum inflammation and gum disease.
So now you have a bacterial or viral infection. The key is to target the problem area, topically with an ionic silver, also for the nose, eyes, ears, and mouth, and can be nebulized for the lungs. Internally, a true colloidal silver is most effective as it is not affected by the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Internally or externally, the process is nearly the same. Let's say you cut your finger and it gets infected. You spray ionic silver on it, and then the magic starts. Ionic silver has a slight positive charge, so it automatically seeks out the negatively charged bacteria, virus, or fungus. Millions and millions of super tiny silver ions have found their quarry and kill the bacteria by suffocating the enzyme they use to create oxygen without any toxicity. The bacteria die-off is discharged naturally. If you are severely ill and take an enormous amount of colloidal or ionic silver, you may temporarily feel ill, kind of like the flu, and this is due to the Herxheimer's effect. You can look it up, Herxheimer, Herxheimer. Again, here is where size matters. ppm, or parts per million, is described as 1 ppm is equivalent to 1 milligram of something per liter of water. If I say I have 1 part per million, but that part is the size of a cannonball, and I only have 1, that is not as effective as taking that cannonball and smashing it down into, say, 10,000 BBs. I still only have 1 part per million, but all these tiny BBs are effective, as each BB, or a silver ion, can target a single enzyme. Now, how small is a nanometer? If you take a single strand of human hair and pretend that the width of the hair is equal to 1 mile, then a pea placed inside that mile would be 1 nanometer. Now that's small. I am not a doctor and only provide this information based on my own research and observations. If you are ill, you should visit your doctor. Stay safe, stay well.
Hey YouTube, today we're going to be talking about how to make colloidal silver. First we're going to talk about the things that we need to obtain, and then we're going to talk about the process of actually making it. What you need first is to obtain some silver. You need to have pure 0.999. In our case, I have these 2 skinny rods. They're 0.999 silver. What I did was I got a wooden spoon. I drilled 2 holes into it. I put the wires through, and I used a glue gun to attach them there. And I connected it to 2 power supplies. A positive and negative, I can't remember which one's which. And the power supply you need to have, well, in our situation I have a printer power supply. It's an adapter. This one is 31 volts. For this you're going to need minimum about 27 volts. That's the minimum. And I would say the maximum is around 31, 32. This one's 31, so I wouldn't go any higher than this. The way it works is you put the silver rods into the water and you apply some heat to it, which in our case we're using a stove. And it takes about 45 minutes to an hour to actually make it. Although a lot of people tell me that they don't put it as long because they like to have a clear solution. What I like to do is I like to get it to the point where it almost looks like olive oil or any kind of oil. It's kind of yellow. And what that basically means is the longer you put it, the more parts per million you have. And I find that to be very useful because I've actually used it to cure quite a few things. But this is just for educational purposes. This is no, medical, I'm not claiming anything basically. So, but don't take my word for it. So what you do first is you get pure distilled water. I'm just going to show you guys with tap water for educational purposes. So you fill it up almost to the rim. Now we're going to put inside of this pan. Also, you can use a saucepan, you can use a pan like this. Just something, the purpose of it so that you can heat it up without cracking the glass, because you obviously can't put it on fire. So what we do is we put inside of the pan like this, and we also add a little bit of water, maybe about this high. So we put the pan, put the cup, you take your silver rod, and you balance it on top. Right here, I put a tape. Try to keep the rods about, I would say maximum 1 inch apart, even when you're actually putting the drills. So they're not too far apart, they're not too close, because when you actually have the plug in, After about 30 minutes, you're going to see little particles of silver actually come out. So what you don't want to happen is, it happened to me before where they come off of both of the rods and they touch each other and zap. They zap, and what that does is two things. One, it's not good for it because the current, something happens chemically. And another thing is those particles that accumulate on top of the rods, they end up falling off of it. You don't want any silver particles inside of your cup visible. So you turn on the stove, very small flame. Like I'm talking about as low as it possibly can be. That's all you really need. You adjust your silver rods. Like I said, not more than an inch apart and not any closer than that. 3/4. Put it, balance it. I use a tape. Plug it in. Now this is with pure distilled water. So what happens is in the beginning nothing happens because when you have pure H2O, just pure distilled water, electricity doesn't run through it. So you can actually stick your finger in water and you will not get zapped. But about 30 minutes later, you don't want to do that. So what you do is you turn on the heat, pure distilled water, put on your rods, adjust it, connect it in, and in about 30 minutes later, you're going to see little bubbles coming off of one of the rods. Now what's happening is, as the current goes through, in the beginning there's no current, but when the current starts to go through because silver particles are released into the water, you're going to start to see little bubbles come out, and that actually contains the silver ions. Like I said, it's not really colloidal silver as a lot of products on the market claim it to be. It's really an ionic solution. Ions meaning the ions of the silver. So slowly, you're going to see this smoky type of thing releasing off one of the rods. That's the actual silver itself. That's after you see the bubbles. In about 30 minutes, you're going to start to slowly see the water change color. It slowly starts to turn yellow. And that's a good thing. That's what you want. Now, never use tap water because what happens is tap water has so many different metals inside that the moment you plug it in, you're going to start seeing this gray cloud accumulate. That's because there's already metals inside, so the current is going way too fast. And also when you drink that, after a while you get something called agria or aguria. It's when your body turns silver. That's one of the misconceptions people have, and they try to, the doctors and stuff, they try to turn you away from this, you know, trying to give you that fear. And plus, even if you get that by using distilled water, you still won't get any side effects as far as health goes because it's just the color of your skin pigmentation. So after about 30 minutes, it starts to turn color. You already physically see the particles going to the water. When it gets to about the color, let me show you guys. When it gets to be about this color, this is a little green, but when it gets to be about yellow, exclude the green, it's perfect. That's about as much as you would want to go, I would say. I know for sure it's above 10 parts per million, and I'm pretty sure it's close to 20 parts per million, which that'll kill everything and anything inside. So try it out. Be careful with it. Make sure you have 0.999 silver. That's the most important part. Pure distilled water. Don't apply too much heat or you'll make the chemical reaction too fast. I'm talking about as low as it can go for the fire. And make sure your rods are clean. Before you actually use the rods, take the rough part of a sponge on the other side, wet it, and wipe them down every single time when you're going to use it. And then wash it off and then put it in. And every time you're done, and another thing, when you're done, when you're actually about to stop, pull out the plug, wait about 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, because even after you remove the plug, this box keeps generating energy because there is a restrictor inside, and what that causes is the energy, like a battery, stays inside. So after about 10-15 seconds, right when you're about to take it out, do it in a very quick, fast motion. Just lift it up out of the water because you're going to see these hairy things hanging out from the one individual rod. When you pull it up, you don't want any of that to go inside of it. If it does, you have to filter it through a coffee filter, which I don't like doing that. I kind of find it a waste. So anyways, you fill it up, lift it up, and you wash it again with the scrubber, put it away, wrap it up. Do not leave it inside of light because what silver does, it oxidizes, so you don't want that to happen. So try it out. Be careful. Don't burn yourself. Don't electrocute yourself. Have fun. Enjoy it. And good health to everybody. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's me, Kelly, and we are going to finish talking about colloidal silver and how to make it at home. So, let's see, what do we do next?
Okay, we're already processing one batch of silver over here. I'm going to turn...
Oh, you've got this one on?
Yes, I'm going to turn the power supply off.
Okay.
I'm going to disconnect the power supply from this, the jar that has the silver bars in it. What we're going to do is change power sources from this very expensive complex DC power box to standard 9-volt batteries. These you can buy virtually anywhere. Each of these is 9 volts, and when you wire batteries, DC batteries in series, the voltages add up. So 9 volts, 4 batteries, you're looking at about 36 volts or a little better. What I do, you can do this a number of ways. You can buy these little battery connectors down at Radio Shack or any electronics outlet. They're pretty cheap. You can buy them in packages of 5 or 10, relatively inexpensive. I could take these batteries and put one of these on each battery and then connect all of these things together, daisy chain them. Or I could do it the cheap way, the quick way, and just connect the batteries.
Do it where the camera can see it.
And what I've done here is I've connected 4 9-volt batteries in series so that I have a positive terminal here and a negative terminal here.
I did not know you could do that.
When I take these batteries, if you'll watch my meter, I have a voltmeter up here so you can actually see what's going on. These batteries are all connected in series, 9 volts each. When I put the meter on the batteries, I actually get, according to the meter, 38 volts, 38.1 volts DC. So it's a little more than 36 volts, the actual output of the battery as it's advertised.
Is that okay?
That's fine. What I'm going to do now is take one of these little things from Radio Shack and make sure that I have it connected correctly.
This hand keeps covering what you're doing to the camera.
And we're good there. What I've done is I've taken one of these on each end, one of these battery connectors from Radio Shack, and to kind of eliminate confusion, I only use one connector on each side. One is positive, one is negative. I've already put a connector on here.
Which one's positive and which one's negative?
The battery has a positive indication on the battery. That's your red terminal.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, was it the color of the wire?
It is in this case.
Okay, which color is positive?
Red.
So you're cutting off the red?
I'm cutting off the unnecessary wire, just to eliminate confusion.
Oh, okay.
What I have now is a positive terminal out of this battery pack and a negative terminal. Prior to any of this taking place, I cut my wires for this power supply for this project right here so you can actually see what's going on. I've taken the big power supply out of the picture and I've inserted a battery pack. And I just make a simple connection. And now this battery pack is providing 38 volts DC to these 2 silver bars. And you can verify that anytime you like by checking the power supply with your voltmeter.
You can see that right there.
And it says right now 37.8 volts.
So it brought down the power a little bit when you...
That's because the process in the jar is considered a load on the batteries. It drops the voltage just a little bit.
Okay.
So right now, and we have never tried the battery thing before. This is the first time.
A lot of people do the smaller batteries. It's just we had this, so this is what we've been using.
This is just to show you guys an alternative. In the event that you don't have or don't want to go get a larger power supply, 9-volt batteries will do the trick. It's a slightly higher voltage. I have no idea what it's going to do to our solution percentage.
Oh, being 37 instead of 30, basically.
Right.
Yeah, we've been doing it at 30, and that's 37.
But I expect it's not going to make much of a difference.
Yeah, it shouldn't. And as far as time goes, since it is putting out 37, do you think the 3 hours would be a good amount of time?
I'm going to stay with the benchmark until the solution percentage tells me to do different.
Okay. One way, just like we did, test it at your home, do it for 1 hour, test it, and I haven't even told you how to test this thing. We've got a tester. This is for water. It shows you the parts per million of whatever it is in your water. It's got a little gauge on the back. If you want to order one of these, the phone number is 877-335-3339. It's called freshwatersystems.com. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get any money from them. That is just where I bought my tester, and I love my tester. TDS EZ HM Digital. So what you do is you take the end off, and there's a little button you push right there, and it turns it on. It's battery operated. It's real easy. I've got some set up over here. Sorry, I'm having to move around. And can I move this? And you can't electrocute yourself with this, can you?
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure I don't lead you guys astray. Now I've got some water, and I don't know if you can see the gauge or not when I do this, but I've got it on, and I got some tap water, and I got some filtered water, like the reverse osmosis filtration system. We filter our water here at the house. And then I also am going to put in some colloidal silver right there. I would show distilled water to you, but it's zero. It's always zero. There's no particles per million. So let's see what our tap water is today. And holy cow! It's at 166 right at the moment. I don't know if you're able to see that on 165. It's fluctuating a little bit. So let's see what our filtered water, oh, it's got 8. It's usually about 7. So today it's 8 parts per million on our filtered water. And for the colloidal silver, and this is, sorry, I keep getting above the camera. This colloidal silver, I store it in really need to store it in a dark container. And I use plastic. You can use plastic or glass. Don't store it in any metal. But when you store it, you know, I couldn't find anything cheap out there. So I went out and I got a bunch of hydrogen peroxide that's in a brown bottle. Make sure you put big X's. Make sure you mark the bottles that this is colloidal silver instead of hydrogen peroxide. If you accidentally use it as hydrogen peroxide, it's colloidal silver. It's not going to hurt you. So this is the solution that we've made up. You can see it's slightly yellow, which is about the color that your colloidal silver is going to be. So if it's slightly yellow, it's the right color. And this one was a little low. It was getting kind of to the end. We heard our cats. It's getting to the end of the silver bar. So this one was only 16 parts per million in this batch. But that's how you test the colloidal silver. And dry that off and put it away.
And that's
so,
16 parts of silver, not 16 parts of junk out of your tap water.
Oh, exactly. When I tested the tap water, the 165 or 166 parts per million was question mark. There's pharmaceuticals in your drinking water. There's, oh, God knows what is in your drinking water. We filter most of it out, and we began with distilled water, which is 0. So anything that we count in here is silver particles, and that's all that's in there. So anything else you want to add before? So that is how to make colloidal silver. And when you're finished, store it. If you want to store it, you might want to just tear the label off and make another label. But these are absolutely perfect for storing your colloidal silver in. So thank you, husband Chuck, for helping me with this. This was like pulling teeth getting him to do a video. So I'm very, very thankful to Chuck for helping me with this video. Thank you very much. So that is how you make colloidal silver at your house. I hope you've been educated. If you do have any questions, please feel free to write me. I will ask him and I will write you back. So I'll see you on the next video.
Colloidal silver and hydrogen peroxide. Using colloidal silver and hydrogen peroxide H2O2. Hydrogen peroxide H2O2. Hydrogen peroxide therapy, as well as other oxygen-based treatments, is rapidly gaining in popularity within the alternative medicine community. Mounting evidence suggests that H2O2 properly utilized holistically affects the body. It acts as a catalyst for various needed body processes as well as directly reducing anaerobic bacterial infections. H2O2 oxidizes body waste products and diseased tissue. It has been shown to dissolve calcium and cholesterol deposits in the body, and it stimulates peroxidase production. Oxygen content in the blood and tissues increases with oral and IV use, and hydrogen peroxide stimulates the body's enzyme systems as well. Even so, the effects of hydrogen peroxide in the body are wide, varied and still not completely understood. One of the greatest benefits of using hydrogen peroxide for therapy is that it falls in the natural treatments category. H2O2 breaks down as H2O water plus O, completely non-toxic. Hydrogen peroxide is not a foreign agent introduced into the body. In fact, H2O2 is produced within the body in cellular and other key metabolic reactions. The greatest concern with use is the powerful oxidation which results in the explosive liberation of the extra oxygen molecule. This effect can be safely managed by varying the H2O2 concentration in any solution used. However, not everyone is in agreement that H2O2 therapy is safe, even in small amounts. Opponents of hydrogen peroxide therapy claim that usage results in organ and tissue damage. They believe that using H2O2 increases any and all conditions associated with free radicals in the body. Delving into this subject, at present, is outside the scope of our work. If one is unfamiliar with H2O2 use, then the best suggestion is to research both sides of the issue thoroughly before using it internally. For internal use, a USP food-grade 35% hydrogen peroxide is recommended, although all caution must be used when handling H2O2 in concentrations above 11%. For external use, a standard 3% store purchase solution is fine, and in reality there is no direct evidence that the commonly sold 3% solution cannot be used orally. Please remember that a 35% H2O2 solution is highly caustic and should be stored in a safe freezer, clearly labeled and out of the reach of children. The 35% solution must always be diluted when used internally. 3 drops per 6 to 8 ounces of water is starting point that is often suggested, although our approach is far more conservative. H2O2 and colloidal silver. Colloidal silver combined with H2O2 is quickly proving to be an effective combination. This combination can be used in oral, IV and external treatments. Please keep in mind that IV treatments should be considered highly experimental. Adding H2O2 to a completed batch of colloidal silver ionizes silver particles remaining in the solution. In fact, observations demonstrate that extremely small amounts of ionic silver often plate onto glass surfaces. By taking a glass dropper exposed to colloidal silver and adding a 3% H2O2 colloidal silver solution, this reaction becomes visibly evident as the metallic silver is ionized. According to Water and Science Technology, Volume 31-5-6, a 1001 solution of colloidal silver to H2O2 is sufficient to increase the efficacy of colloidal silver by up to 100 times under some circumstances which remain unknown against bacterial infections. High H2O2 colloidal silver strengths can be used externally with fine results. A 3% H2O2 colloidal silver solution can be mixed and used as an excellent disinfectant and water treatment method, and can be used as a skin cleanser conditioner for healthy skin tissues. H2O2 as an addition to colloidal silver is not very well documented, although the mechanisms at work are. 2 treatment philosophies prevail. 1 using colloidal silver to augment H2O2 therapy. A 1/1000 colloidal silver to H2O2 solution is created. It is wise to dilute the H2O2 down to the desired concentration, and then add a small amount of colloidal silver to the end solution. Then, one uses this end solution as one normally would in H2O2 therapy. Adding 3 drops of a 3% H2O2 solution to 6 to 8 ounces of water for internal use, as previously mentioned, is the standard recommended starting point. For external use and for use as a mouthwash, the 3% end solution need not be diluted. The H2O2/colloidal silver external solution is excellent to treat ear conditions and infections that use the inner ear as an incubation chamber. Caution: a 3% H2O2 solution created from colloidal silver is much more reactive than a standard 3% H2O2 solution. If one has experienced chronic ear or other tissue infections, unpleasantness can be avoided by using a 1.5% dilution. Simply take the 3% N solution and dilute it further. 2. Using H2O2 to augment colloidal silver therapy. Adding small amounts of H2O2 to a final colloidal silver batch prior to use both enhances the colloidal silver and provides the benefits associated with hydrogen peroxide use. All dosage levels for hydrogen peroxide should be tailored to personal tolerance levels and used with informed caution. Treatment of skin conditions may cause pH imbalance in sensitive skins. Lung infections via nebulizer experimental, not recommended. Bacterial infections. Ear conditions. Type 2 diabetes via 4 treatment experimental. Emphysema via 4 treatment experimental. Mouth and gum conditions. Cautions. Used in inhalation therapy. All caution must be used when considering using H2O2 combined with colloidal silver and H2O2 in general delivered directly into the lungs. The danger lies in the commonly held belief that few adverse effects are possible. This conclusion has been drawn based on the fact that many people use dilutions as high as 3% hydrogen peroxide with no ill effects. However, certain conditions in the lungs can cause extremely harmful and potentially lethal reactions. Furthermore, less noticeable reactions are possible that have long-term implications on health. Smokers and individuals who have used prescription and non-prescription drugs delivered into the lungs are well advised to seriously reconsider H2O2 inhalation therapy. Upon entering the lungs, the oxidation reaction dislodges and delivers some substances directly into the bloodstream. In the case of smokers, this results in a possible extreme nicotine overdose that can cause heart failure. It is unknown if this reaction occurs in the same manner with other contaminants such as harmful dusts and pollutants normally not absorbed through the lungs into the bloodstream. However, it is evident that cell permeability is altered, and therefore all caution must be employed as a matter of life and death. Furthermore, certain anaerobic bacterial conditions in the lungs can also spark an intensified H2O2 reaction causing possible extreme damage to lung tissues themselves. Again, the danger is that these conditions not currently qualified are not prevalent, and it is easy for one to be lulled into false sense of safety, thereby putting others at uniformed risk. Taking the high road, benefit without risk. Despite the unknown and varied nature of H2O2, the possible profound benefits from using H2O2 and colloidal silver cannot be ignored. On the other hand, reckless disregard for consequences in search of a quick fix is seldom wise. Patience, perseverance and caution are certainly called for, and on an individual-to-individual basis. Although the following suggestions contradict most of the mainstream information presented by very well-qualified oxygen-based therapy researchers, they have been developed with the idea first and foremost, cause no harm. Approaching any type of H2O2 therapy with an extremist philosophy is not necessary. Careful thought about what one is trying to accomplish will lead to extremely wise choices. If one is attempting to treat a chronic and very severe condition such as emphysema, diabetes 2, hepatitis, HIV, the best recommendation is to approach H2O2 therapy through a qualified doctor that can administer for treatment. Through education, such a doctor would be quick to begin utilizing colloidal silver as a part of the H2O2 protocol. However, if one is considering H2O2/CS as health-advancing substance and to augment one's natural immune system, then the following suggestions may prove to be an excellent starting point. Internal use: start with 1 drop of a 3% H2O2/CS solution added to 10 ounces of water. This results in a 0.0007% N solution. At this dilution, one will avoid the unpleasant side effects often associated with H2O2 when taken orally. The H2O2 is still active at this concentration. While there is no solid data on the benefits of such a solution, It will become evident to the observant user that the hydrogen peroxide/colloidal silver combination does indeed act as a catalyst, inducing a metabolic reaction in the body. The operative idea is to slowly correct the bacterial balance in the digestive system without risking unpleasant side effects. A user may then increase the amount of H2O2 used to tolerance, or simply maintain the drinking water supply at this level. External use. As previously mentioned, a 3% H2O2 colloidal silver solution is an excellent topical mixture for healthy skin tissues. However, with sensitive skin, damaged skin, wounds, or otherwise blemished skin, the 3% mixture is too strong unless one is attempting to arrest an infection that is out of control. While hydrogen peroxide does not react strongly with healthy skin, the oxidation that occurs when H2O2 comes in contact with bacteria can damage the underlying tissue and significantly slow the healing process. When using colloidal silver, only a small of H2O2 need be used to achieve good results. The operative idea is to include just enough to maintain an increased colloidal silver potency and oxidize diseased tissues, without the severe reaction that slows the healing process. We are currently working on some dosage suggestions, and they will be posted after further experimentation. Nebulizer/humidifier use. All caution must be applied when using H2O2 delivered directly into the lungs. We are currently trying to identify the safest effective starting point, and will post further information as it is available.
Hey, what's up, YouTubers? Just wanted to do a little demonstration on colloidal silver and how it works, what it does, what you can use it for. I've had this fish tank outside and it was raining for the last few days last week. Filled up with some water, it's starting to turn green. Thought it'd be a perfect chance to show you how this stuff works. So I got some of my colloidal silver right here. My gallon jug that I make. I have my own little silver generator that I made, and let's see how it goes. You can see how dirty and mercury the water is. Just gonna pour some silver in here. Then we'll come back tomorrow and see how it looks. See if we can see a difference. Okay, see you back. Okay, we're back to check on our fish tank. As you can see, it's cleared up a little bit. You can actually see through there now. You can see right through to the bottom. You can see the leaves and debris in there. Not bad, just for the water just sitting there. Hasn't been run through a pump or anything. So there you go. Hey, what's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to do a colloidal silver test. It's a milk test. Show you how colloidal silver works, what it does, how it kills bacteria or keeps bacteria from forming. I got a fresh batch of colloidal silver that I made. It's my ppm tester, test of parts per million. As you can see, this batch right here, you see that? It's 15 parts per million. Now this is the way that colloidal silver should look. Should be perfectly clear. Shouldn't be hazy or cloudy. Looks just like a regular glass of water right there. Don't want any kind of big particles in your silver. Shouldn't be yellow. Okay, I'm going to pour our 2 glasses here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a tablespoon or a teaspoon silver in there, stir it up. And then we'll come back to check on it periodically through the week and we'll see how it looks. This is what they used to do back in the 1900s. Used to put silver dollars in their milk to keep it from spoiling, so figured this would be a perfect test. Alright, we'll come back and check with it. Okay, we're back already. It's already the 3rd day. Early morning. Actually tonight will be a complete 3 days, but we'll leave it here for another couple of days and see how it looks. But right here, here's the one that had the colloidal silver in it. Still looks milky. It's been sitting out here for 3 days and this is the way it looks still. It's the one with the colloidal silver. This is the one without. As you can see, it's starting to separate. Looks a little like gelatin. And we'll leave it here for another day or two and see if we see any other changes in it. But it's something I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you my this here is my colloidal silver generator. Probably most of you have never seen something like this. This thing is awesome. It's made by Silver Gen. Can make up to about 5 gallons of colloidal silver at a time. Has a fountain pump inside circulating the water. Here's my silver bars right here. As you can see, it has four silver bars. This piece right here, the generator itself, is about $700, and I'll probably do another video on this and show you how that works. But this batch I just started, so you can see right here, here's my ppm tester. It just started, 0 parts per million, distilled water, and there it is. This machine's awesome. I've never seen one quite like it. It's a constant current generator. You don't have to clean the silver bars or anything. It's self-cleaning. It's pretty much a set it and forget it system. I make this for my family, my friends. I sell it. There's my little setup here, my table. And I'll make a normal batch to about 14 parts per million. And if anybody likes to have it stronger, like 20 and higher, I'll do that. I'll do that with my my glass jar. Take the one that I've already made, I'll put it in there, and to make a strong batch, I'll just throw that throw my silver bar thing into this little one. It'll make a stronger batch faster. I actually got a new one right here in the box. This one right here is new. I needed to buy another one to keep up with all the orders. I sell it by the gallon, and it's helped out my family and friends. What I've heard is that at 20 parts per million or higher, that it can cure cancer. And I actually got a lady from my wife's work. She just found out that she had colon cancer, so I've started to give it to her, and we'll keep you guys posted on that and see the results of that. But here you go, with colloidal silver and without. Ew. We'll check back on that at another time, in another day or so. It's pretty gross. Alright, we'll see you guys back in about another day or two, and we'll show you the results. Okay, we're back. Check on our milk test. It's now the 4th day. Came out here and I noticed that the milk started to separate in the one without the silver, so we're gonna check it out. So you can see it right there. It's all cottage cheesy and it's all separating. And the one that had the colloidal silver in there still looks milky. Still looks pretty good for being in there for 4 days in the open air compared to that. Alright, we'll check back at another day. Okay, we're back. It is now the 8th day of our colloidal silver test with the milk. And as you can see, the one on the left is the one with the silver. Still looks like milk. The bacteria hasn't been any kind of bacteria able to break it down or anything. Still looks pretty good. Back in the 19th century, that's what they used to do, is they would drop a silver dollar or silver coins into their milk to keep it from spoiling. And that's what it does. It keeps the bacteria from being existent. And of course, this is the one without. As you can see, that's a big old lump of I don't know what in there. It's all separated. Pretty gross. Alright, so there you go. Thanks for watching.
I just wanted to share this information with you all, and I would say try this at your own risk, but I am going to try this with my family if anything was to happen to us. This is what I would do, but I can't tell anyone to just do this. I would say research it and find out if this is something that you would want to try for your family, and then try it at your own risk. You know, but like I said, I would do it. You see this little puppy, her name is Jade, and I made her a little outfit. She had 2 brothers and a sister, and they passed away because I fed them Ornkeys. And I didn't know that these treats from China was toxic. You know, that if you give it to your animals, there's a possibility that your animals can get sick, and I didn't know that. And here's another picture. And if you look at the back of the package, it says they're made in China. Well, I got them for teething, you know, to help the puppies because they started chewing on furniture and, you know, stuff like that. So I got them this, so thinking that this would help with their teething, and then they started to get sick, and I didn't know that these treats were the cause. I had lost some of my puppies because of this, and it was really heartbreaking for me, and I was crying and I was really upset. I asked God to please, you know, tell me why they died, and actually I got my answer from one of my subscribers from my YouTube channel. And the video that he had put up about the China treats was kind of out of the ordinary. You know, he usually did other videos, and I had saw this video, and I really think that the video was there because God answered my question. You know, it was trying to help me figure this out. And I saw the video, and I was like, oh, okay, now I know why they died. I will never buy Ornkeys ever again, not ever. And I try to tell people when I see them at the store at Walmart not to buy it, and I don't know how this stuff works. I don't know if it's like 1 out of 5 packages is toxic, because some people say, well, I buy this all the time and it don't make my dog sick, you know, or if it only makes certain age groups sick, or if it's just, like I said, a percentage, you know, like maybe it's 1 out of 20 bags, or I don't know. I'm not sure how this works, but I know that I fed them that treat, or maybe it's like how a certain batch, like, and I went and when I got mine, it was an older batch that was toxic. I have no clue, but I know that it was on recall. This Oinkies were on recall, and so I lost some of my puppies, and I started them on Colloidal silver to try to help, you know, cure them. And in one of my batches that I made with Colloidal silver, I'd put a little bit of hydrogen peroxide mixed in, and I was desperate because my Jade was getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and I had already lost some puppies, and I was like, I don't want to lose her too. And I prayed to God and held her in my arms and was crying, you know, Lord, please don't let me lose her too. And you know, but she survived. She even had seizures. She had like a lot of seizures, and you wouldn't be able to tell that she was sick like that. She's like normal, you know, she's happy. She's one of the smartest, I mean, really smart dog. Like, she'll shake your hand if you ask her. She'll give you a high five. I mean, she's a very intelligent dog. And so I'm really surprised that she's, you know, she's doing as well as she is. You can't even tell that she was even sick, you know, ever. And I gave her Colloidal silver mixed with hydrogen peroxide in one of her doses. But then my husband and my children, they were getting worried because they never heard of anything about ingestion, you know, like swallowing, I can't say that word right, swallowing hydrogen peroxide, you know, and it was mixed with Colloidal silver. And they were like, you're going to kill her. And I said, well, I'm just trying to save her, you know. And I explained to them how the other ones were dying, and, you know, at least I'm trying something different so she would have a different outcome. You know, maybe she would live. It's like the last resort, you know. I was trying something. I wanted to see if she would make it, because it looked like she was going to die, you know. And I was willing to give it a try because I felt that no matter what, I think she was going to die. But out of my surprise, she actually pulled through, and I was giving her colloidal silver, like I said, her first batch I gave her had the peroxide in it. And then, of course, after everyone was complaining because they were afraid, I started just giving her just regular colloidal silver. It got to the point where I was giving her treatments that she wasn't wanting to swallow because she got to that's how sick she got. So I had to give colloidal silver up her rectal, you know, and like cc's. I think it was like 2 to 3 cc's, you know, and sometimes I'd mix it with Gatorade, because I was trying to keep her hydrated, you know. And I know I was trying everything. I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, and what I did could have been bad for her, but all I know is she's alive right now with me doing what I did, you know, because I couldn't give her an IV because I don't have the stuff to do IVs, so I was hydrating her from the rectal area, you know. So I mean, and she's alive right now. In fact, I could do a video of her, you know, to show everyone that she's a healthy little puppy. And I just wanted to let everyone know that, of course, never buy any treats from China. Anything like O'Roy dog foods from China. You know, just look at the bags of the dog treats or food that you give your animals and make sure they don't come from China. I don't know why we even get things from that country. I think that country hates us, you know, and it's like, you know, why even get anything from there? You know, I don't understand. But anyways, getting off track. I just want to say that the colloidal silver was very helpful, and also I know that God's the one that saved her. You know, He's the one that, you know, it was a miracle. That's what I'd have to say. It was a miracle, but I have a feeling that the colloidal silver was also a major help, because God gave me knowledge to use that on her. You know, I wouldn't have never thought to use that. I prayed and prayed and prayed, and it was like, try colloidal silver, you know, and it worked. And also I prayed for her even more, you know, and I did pray for the other puppies too, but I got to them kind of late, and it was too late for them, and I feel really horrible about it. But I just wanted to let y'all know this in case this Ebola breakout comes, you know, and they say there's no cure. Well, at least you can give this a try if anyone in your family happens to get sick, or if you know someone that's gotten sick. And I would have to say this, I mean, this is something I'm going to say from my heart. If you know someone who's sick and you have the means to make colloidal silver, it would be really nice if, instead of charging that person to give them the medicine to make them better, if you can make it, why not just give it to that person? Because what if that was your life and you didn't have the money to, you know, pay for the medicine to make yourself better? You know, you need to look at it from their point of view. Some people may not have the money to give to you to, you know, buy the product from you for you to make them some colloidal silver to help them to get better. And then you could, you know, the shoes could reverse. You could be the one that's, you know, in need, and somebody around you has the means to make it, but they want to charge you an arm and a leg. You know, this is one of those times where love is the answer. Love is the key to all things. You know, sharing and having compassion for one another. You know, so if you see someone that is sick and in need, and if you're afraid to get close because you don't want to get yourself sick, all you would have to do is call them on the phone, because, you know, maybe they might have a way to, you know, answer their phone. And if not, real quickly put a note on their door and run away. Let them read the note, and then tell them that you're going to deliver them some colloidal silver to their doorstep, and for them to stay back, you know, so you don't get sick. And all you do is run up to their door, you know, put this a box of colloidal silver at their doorstep, and then run away, you know, so you don't have to worry about getting in contact with them. You know, all I'm saying is we should help one another in a time of crisis. You know, don't run to the government. You know, I feel like they're the main reason why we're probably getting this illness. They're probably doing this because they're looking for the perfect crisis to bring in their new world order. You know, so why run to the source, the one that actually caused the problem in the first place? You know, that's how I look at it. But I mean, if you want to, that's fine. You know, do what you feel like is right for you and your family, but at least give this a try, because I think it might work. Well, I just wanted to share this with y'all, and I love you all, and God bless you. All right, bye-bye.